privilege to pastor here and talk about God's Word every week. And today we'll be talking about something very relevant to you. It is about valuing our treasure. Imagine waking up one day and you realize na you check your phone, open mo yung app mo, kung ano naman yung bangko mo, and you realize, nakita mo zero yung balance. Biglang walang laman. And then paglabas mo, punta ka sa opisina, tinanong mo, pumunta ka sa bangko, nagreklamo ka, someone calls you up and says, nasunog yung bahay mo. And everything you have worked hard for, in just one day, biglang nawala. How would that make you feel? No? Sa ating mga Pilipino, hindi siya ganoon ka bago na balita. Because every time merong storm, it's either na-experience mo to, or it turned on, you watch the news, and then you hear someone who would say, nawala ang lahat sa akin. And that should hit you. Because in that moment, you realize everything else can be taken away. Wala talagang permanente sa buhay na ito. And ikaw, Filipino ka eh. You value sipag at tiyaga. Hindi ba? Hard work, perseverance. Na nangangarap ka na kaya ka nagtatrabaho ng maigi. Kasi hindi lang para sa sarili mo eh. Gusto mo rin ma-secure yung future ng anak mo at yung future mo when you retire. And these are good goals. Pero may warning si Christ para sa'yo. That if your heart is anchored in securing or wealth, or even perhaps in the approval of others, the danger is you will live a life of anxiety. Bakit? Because all of these can be taken away almost instantly. Today, Jesus wants you rather to channel yung sipag at tiyaga mo, yung hard work mo, yung passion mo, to something that no storm can take away. At yun yung i-explain niya as we continue our series in the Sermon on the Mount. The big idea has three movements. Your heart follows what you treasure, and we will find that out when we open up verses 19 to 21. And your heart treasures what you feed it. You would realize that as Jesus Christ explains it in verses 22 to 23. And in the end, your heart will serve what you treasure the most. And that's the third point will be expounded in verse 24. So umpisahan po natin yung pinakaunang point. Your heart follows what you treasure. Kumbaga, like what I said in the introduction, there's a danger kapag nilagay mo yung buong sipag at tiyaga mo, your entire heart, into things that can be taken away just as quick. If I may read again, do not lay up for yourselves treasure on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. The reason, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Let me just give a couple of observations. Merong do not, or a negative command, and then there's a positive command. Negative is do not lay up treasures where it can be, gone in an instant. Instead, lay up for things in eternity. And the reason, or the reason why you don't want to do that is because moth, rust, and thieves. Siguro thieves, medyo maiintindihan pa natin. But moth and rust, medyo panahon yan ni Christ. During their time, yung riches, tinatago mo talaga in a safe box sa ilalim ng bahay. At yung pera nun, talaga mga metal, mga gold, mga silver, na nababawasan ng timbang pag nagkaroon ng rust. So nawawalan ka ng pera, literally, dahil sa rust. Tapos yung moth naman, it feeds on food, it feeds on clothing, or any other apparel nung panahon nila na medyo tinatago mo. You know, I like this get up. Ito yung pang formal attire ko. Tatago mo yan, and then moth will eat it pala. Okay? So, ano yung mga modern parang counterpart ng mga ito? O kunyari rust, bumabawas yung pera, parang inflation today. Just as rust slowly eats away metal, and inflation erodes the value of money over time. Yung tinago mong 1 million last 1999, hindi na as powerful as the 1 million that you have today. You get me? People work hard to save, but economic downturns, stock market crashes, and currency devaluation that can happen in an instant, magkaroon lang ng mga kakaibang tariffs and whatnot, bababa yung pera mo. O thieves, nung panahon nila, papasukin talaga. Nangyayari pa rin naman, but there are also other more instances like scams, fraud, cyber theft. Gumising ka, biglang na-tap out na inubos yung savings account mo kasi na-hack yung debit account mo, tapos naubos lahat. And there's so many things that can happen, ano? And yung moths, trends in materialism of today. Nung panahon nila, sinisira yung mga damit, which is a symbol of wealth. Today, fast-changing trends make possessions quickly obsolete. Well, the latest gadgets, the latest fashion, blessing na nga lang na bumabalik minsan. Parang yung mga suot ko ngayon, mga yun yung suot ko nung 90s eh. Pero, but wala na yung mga yun. Kasi ginawa siyang basahan ng 2000s. Tapos yun pala yung okay pa rin ulit today. There are so many things that get obsolete, ano? Nawawalan ng value yung mga tinago mo na akala mo forever magiging maganda. The next thing you want to highlight is your heart. Now, granted, if you lay out your treasure in things that would go away, mapupunta rin sa going away yung heart mo. Yun yung logic mo. Anong ibig sabihin mo? You want to understand una kung anong ibig sabihin ng heart. When you just give a brief or a quick study of the Old Testament, there are many instances where the heart can be found. In some instances, it talks about who you really are on the inside, hindi yung physical, the inside you. In another instance, the heart is talking about saan nanggagaling yung tapang mo. Okay? Where your courage lies. In another instance, it could be where you are rational, the rational version of you, the one that has the thinking power. That's your heart. Hindi yung parang heart of today lang, na very emotion-driven. The heart of Old Testament goes even further than that. Meron pang volition mo, yung will mo is also heart sa Old Testament. The part of you that plans. And even further, the part of you that responds to God, the part of you that dictates ethics and morality, that is also heart. Lalo na sa ating mga Pilipino, we talk about heart and we talk about spirituality, we're talking about that aspect of you that makes you Filipino. Okay? In the field of psychology, puro na lang body and its limits pag West. Pero pag sa atin, yung theories it's being studied, it's often talking about well-being. Kunyari, the word ginhawa is a combination of breath and spirit. Personhood, kapwa. The idea, the theories and studies here is talking about you bilang Pilipino, you decided on it in your spirit. That's why when we talk about when we all bring it down to what Jesus Christ was saying, for where your treasure is, there your true self, your courage, your rationality, your planning, your morality, or even your being Filipino will be also. Ganon kalalim yung danger of investing on things that will go away. Because it affects your nationalism, it affects your morality, it affects your planning, how you think, it affects where you find your courage, and it affects who you are. That's what I mean when I coined it, that your heart follows what you treasure. Your inner self, your courage, your rationality, your planning, your morality, your being a Filipino follows where you find the deepest value of your heart. That's why Jesus was warning. He was warning his disciples, and he's warning you because you are a follower of Christ too, to build your inner self on things that would last forever, or else your inner self is in danger of being destroyed. Because it follows what you treasure. You risk, if you invest in wrong things, you risk waking up one day, old and gray, and realize that, at the tail end of your life, to a tragic reality, that you built your life, your courage, your rationality, your purpose, on things that do not really matter. You look back, sayang lang ang buhay. That's why, as an application, you must fight for prioritizing spiritual investments over materialism. You have to re-examine what you treasure. Instead of chasing material success at all costs, consider investing time, resources, and yung sipag at tiyaga mo bilang Pilipino, also in faith. Ilaban mo yung prayer life mo, ilaban mo yung aral ng study, ilaban mo yung Sabbath mo, ilaban mo yung church, ilaban mo yung growth mo at yung intimacy mo sa Panginoon. The fight in you should also be in there. No? This ship reminds us that our true worth and lasting treasures comes from the biggest gift that you have, yung relationship mo kay God. Not from accumulating possessions. So a good question is, how have you used your resources, your time, your money, your energy, your relationship, etc. to be intimate or to invest in your relationships? Second, you have to also practice wise stewardship. Financial planning is still very, very important. Jesus Christ was simply saying that you have to balance it, but it's still very important. Lalo na sa atin, in an OFW country, remittances, savings are highly valued. We are encouraged to manage our resources wisely, while also remembering to give back to communities, to our family, to support those in need. Rust will destroy, inflation will happen. That is wise to find ways to still leverage the reality na mauubos ko pag wala akong gawin. Okay? Which leads naturally to a simpler lifestyle. Hindi mo kailangan makipagsabayan sa iba. Because the things that matter to you is already available. Si God. We Filipinos are known for our close family ties. Very communal tayo. A simpler lifestyle, one that is not centered on getting, consumerism, accumulating, allows us to devote more time to that deep value of family. By focusing on relationships and shared experiences, we can create more memories that we can look back to at the tail end of our life. Than, things that no one would ever remember pa. Invest in family. For you to invest in family, kailangan committed ka that hindi ako sasabay. Hindi yun ang value system ko. I'm going to embrace a simple lifestyle. I already have what I need in God. so that I can prioritize what I can prioritize. And last, of course, on top of all of this, is the idea that kasi God will provide. I've been a good steward, I've worked hard, I know that God will provide. In a society that often measures success by material gain, trusting in God's provision is always countercultural. Walang makakaintindi kapag hindi nila naiintindihan that you have a God. Relying on God, though, frees you from anxiety kasi hindi ikaw ang taga-secure ng future. You can focus on your work then in being a good steward because alam mo that my future is in His hands. All I have to do is what I can control, what I can do is be a good steward to what I have. Again, you remember the first point. Your heart follows what you treasure. Investing in spiritual matters, being a good steward of what you have, having a simple lifestyle, trusting God's provision will help you treasure eternal things. So if you lost everything today, would your life still have meaning? If nawala yung possession mo, yung following mo, yung gifting mo, even relationships mo, would your life still have meaning? The truth is, and the gift here is, if you are anchored in God, you can say yes. Siguro masakit sabihin, but you can be hopeful that when that time comes, na ang naiwan na lang ako, dahil kasama kita, Panginoon, I will understand what it means to say yes. And kaya importante yung second point, which is a natural progression. It is important that we filter what influences us. Your heart treasures what you feed it. Parang nawala yung video. If I may read, your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is unhealthy, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. Alam niyo ba paano nag-work ang algorithm? Naalala niyo pa ba yung mga 2009, yung either Friendster or Facebook? Na kapag after mga 20 minutes, wala na. Wala nang updates. Lalabas sa dulo, your feed, that's all folks, para may ganun lalabas. Kasi tapos na. Napanood mo na, nabasa mo na lahat ng updates ng kaibigan mo. Ngayon, imposible po yun. Bakit? Because algorithms make sure that what you want goes there. So kung nag-umpisa ka sa toxic na video, and then, nag-stay ka doon sa video niyo, guess what? Susunod ganun ulit. Susunod ganun ulit. Susunod ganun ulit. And so on and so forth. Yung design is, stay there as long as you can. Ayaw na nilang mangyari yung nangyari noon na tumitigil na. After 20 minutes, ayaw mo na mag-Facebook. Okay? Ganon yung idea na ng mind natin. Kasi nag-work ang mind natin. When you feed it something that it experiences dopamine release, ika nga nila, you would want to continue. Kasi masaya, masarap. How does that connect to this one? I want to highlight lang yung idea ng eye, and then there's a healthy eye and an unhealthy eye. In the original language, there are very nuanced understanding of this. Ang una, sa metaphorical usage siya ng mga Jew, ang good eye is a generous person for them. A bad eye is a greedy person. So, it talks about a kind of person na views things properly will lead a life of light for them. Pero to a person na evil lagi ang perspective, darkness rin ang magiging buhay niya. Pero mas malalim to nung nahaluan nung idiom na Greek counterpart. Because the good eye, other translation, perfect eye, was an idiom that talks about laser focus. Devoted. Sa tao, sa Pilipino, hindi kumukurap, nakatingin, nakatigil, hindi gumagalaw. It talks about undivided focus. Which should tell you then that when you have a good eye, a generous, undividedly focused to God kind of eye, you will lead a life of light. And yung light ng panahon nila is not like today. Pag walang ilaw sa wilderness, patay ka. For them, napaka-importante na kaya nga merong song na your light is your word is the light unto my path and the lamp unto my feet. Kasi pag naliligaw ka sa gubat, titingin ka sa pinakamalapit na city. Saan nanggagaling yung ilaw? Ayun, yung Jerusalem may ilaw, doon ang pupunta. So, the light unto my path. And then, paano ka pupunta naman doon? So, meron kang lamp para naman yung mga step mo. So, the tactics and strategies based on the word, ika nga nila. Ganun yung idea ng light. Kapag yung perspective mo is kindness and goodness and undivided focus kay God, it's like meron kang lamp in the darkness and then meron kang vision on where you want to go. But kapag wala, kapag greediness, or undivided yung focus mo, hindi ka rin, maliligaw ka sa tamang landas. And I wanna focus on the huli. Sorry, bakit ganun yung pag-highlight ko? Ang hirap mag-highlight pala pag mouse. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is. The worst that could happen to you is akala mo pa nasa light ka. Di ba people that are deluded are so passionate that they're right? And you will step back and say, kawawa naman tong tao to. Pinaglalaban talaga niya to death yung maling paniniwala. And that's the eventual end, That's the eventual end of a person na hindi nakafocus sa tamang bagay. Ang papaniwalaan niya ng panindigan niya na, mali. At tuwang-tuwa pa siya. Alam niyo, yung pinakamagandang example na to was when Jesus Christ fasted sa desert. He was tempted with food. Anong sagot niya? Tungkol kay God. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by the word of God. And then he was tempted to be weak. Hindi mo nga kaya gawing bread tong rock na to eh. He was tempted na wala siya kapangyarihan, wala ka na, di ka naman legit eh. Di ka tunay, hindi ka magaling. Sagot na naman niya, Lord, it is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test. And then he was tempted with possession. O, bigay ko sa iyo lahat. Ano, sabi ni Satan. Jesus said, away from me, Satan. Worship the Lord your God and serve Him only. Ang sabi ng word. Jesus was so consumed with God and so aware of His word that yung algorithm na binabato ni Satan to a typical person na gusto maging leader or mag-influence sa mundo, binabato sa kanya, he was not having it. I'm not going to be a puppet. How did it end? Satan or the darkness left. Satan walked away. Wala tayong magawa dito. Bakit? Because undivided focus ni Christ sa Panginoon. Kaya you have to do two things eh. Guard what you watch and listen to, but also guard what you are avoiding. Kasi minsan, ayaw natin makita ang tunay na nangyayari sa bayan. Bakit? Kasi ayaw natin mapagod, ayaw natin masaktan, ayaw natin mahasel, may trabaho tayo, ayaw natin maging parte ng solusyon. Di ba? Mas convenient to just be watching happy stuff. But if you are a Christian, you are called to compassion and to fight for justice. You are supposed to be the representative of God where you are that would say, not on my watch. In your house, kung may favoritism, in your barangay, kung meron injustice, in the news, sa mga nangyayari, if Christian ka, you are denying the Holy Spirit when you just look the other way. You have to do something. And you have to find it. Kaya minsan yung pag-avoid mo is also feeding the death of your compassion. Wow! Sayang. Si Lord ang naglagay ng compassion na yan. And whatever field you are, there is evil. But you're in the Philippines, there is a lot of political evil too. And you are the light. Salt and light na yung context ng Sermon on the Mount. Diba? You feed yourself also with things that would bring out that compassion. But at the same time, you also do not feed yourself with things that would make you cynical, hateful, and so on and so forth. Things that would lead you to sin. Which is then a natural progress that whatever it is you watch, whatever it is that you lead, algorithms lead you to, kailangan natin mong kinukultivate ang God-centered perspective. Which all boils down to the question, ano bang ginagawa ni Lord dito? Sa akin, sa bayan. Ano ang ginagawa niya? Because may ganung layer sa'yo when you reflect on what you watch and what you see. Kasi merong Diyos na nagpapaikot na ano ang ginagawa niya. Pilipino ka eh, central ang faith sa'yo. Diba? Sa Diyos, sa awa, sa tawa, gawa, lagi natin sinasabi yan. By regularly engaging in prayer, again, Bible study, church fellowship, your personal Bible study, slowly but surely you develop a kind of eye that is very sensitive to what God is doing. Kaya maganda that you continue to invest in your relationship with God, because the more you are enamored by His heart, the more His heart bleeds out of you kapag nanonood ka ng mga ganito. Okay? That's the second point. Again, nawala na naman yung video. And the third point is very much connected to it. You will serve what your heart treasures the most. Kaya, Jesus Christ was warning about what you treasure. Jesus Christ was warning about what you feed your mind. Bakit? Because kung ano man yung naging ultimate value mo, yun ang magiging Diyos mo. Imagine, a parent, a father, a mother who lives for another country, Saudi, to provide for family. Tirelessly siyang magtatrabaho, sending money home, building a house, and preparing for children's future. But over the years, something shifts. His kids barely know him. His marriage struggles. And it feels like a stranger in his own home tuwing umuwi siya once a year. Parang ang dami nilang experiences together. So he wanted to be the best mom or dad, but in the process, he lost the people that he cared for the most. How many of us in the Philippines have seen this happen? The heartbreaking reality. Because of the situation ng bayan natin, diba? Kailangan mag-provide eh. Hindi natin sila ma-judge, diba? But the inevitable effect is that we are placed in a situation wherein we will either choose, you will choose, do I serve my family or do I provide for them at hindi siya pwede magsabay? Ang hirap, di ba? As Filipinos, we admire sacrifices of people. So we respect them. Pero we also know the painful reality. Lahat tayo nakakita ng anong nangyayari sa ganyan. Yung mga ganyan pa nga na sitwasyon, medyo valid pa eh. But there are other situations na financial success is being licensed by, I wanna provide for my family, which is also licensing na I don't want to become, or I wanna give up my responsibility to be present in their life. Jesus is saying the same thing here. Merong dichotomy na hindi pwedeng maghalo. You cannot serve both God and money. You only have to pick one. Now, you might be thinking, bakit money? Ano? Bakit pera yung biglang binato? The context is treasure, di ba? Dami naman pwedeng i-treasure. Bakit pera yung biglang right hook ni Christ as He ends this part? Because in the Bible, ito yung mga, sa Old Testament, ito yung mga gamit ng money to buy food, land, tribute, etc., etc. If you observe it, you can observe that some are for good, you can observe that some are for bad. What it does is that it gives power to people to control their situation, which is eventually fine naman up until money replaces God. You see, God is supposed to be your provider, the one who would give promised land to His people, the one who would protect you, the one who would go before your way so you don't have to pray, the one who is your comfort so you're purchasing of slave and all so forth, the one, blood money, the one who is your vengeance, and so on and so forth. The idea is money can be your God because it can be an enabler of the things of your heart. Kaya nga, the wise man says, those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Telling you that righteousness, one of the characteristics of righteousness is not trusting in my riches. I am not identified by what I own. That is one aspect of what is being right in the eyes of God. Your fall is because you gave money the power to dictate your entire life. In another conversation, Jesus Christ shared a parable. Sabi niya, the ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. Ang dami nating harvest. He thought to himself, anong gagawin ko? Wala na akong paglalagyan ng ani. May surplus ako. Oh, this is what I'll do, sabi niya. Tear down ko yung barn, papalakihin ko pa para mas marami pa akong surplus in time. Lalaki ng lalaki yung negosyo ko. And I'll say to myself, we have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Retirement na. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, you fool, Tagalog, hangal, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God. No one can serve two masters. You will hate one or love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. Kailangan, if Christian ka, you have a solid resolve na hindi money ang Diyos ko. Money and opportunities to get more money is not going to be the main factor for the decisions that I will do from this point onward. Because there are so many other factors to consider. Dapat hindi siya pinakamalaking priority. Because you will serve what your heart treasures the most. Has profits or professional achievements, savings or whatnot became your priority over marriage, became your priority over children, became your priority over your walk with God, because you have to be warned. You're living a foolish life. And a time will come you will look back and regret the decisions you're doing today. Lalo na when your children don't want anything to do with you already. You know, you have to see Jesus is not rejecting wealth. You know? It's the root of all evil, but it's not necessarily evil. It's about you choosing the right master. Pera ba o si God? So kung OFW, a father or a mother must make a decision, is it presence or provision? How can I make sure that the scales are going to tip more in a balanced way? In the same way, we must ask, will we choose God over money? Because in the end, we will serve what we treasure the most. So as an application, you have to, like what I said a while ago, prioritize spiritual integrity over materialism. Recognize that while financial security is utterly important, especially in a culture natin na napaka-economic instability dito at taas, our first commitment, however, should be to God. Ask yourself if the choices you make in work and daily life are influenced more by a desire to serve God or because mas marami akong kikitain. Which leads to the next thing, you have to examine daily decisions. Whether it's career choices, business practices, or even social activities, consider if these decisions ultimately draw you closer or further from God. Kunyari, are you driven solely by profit at the expense of ethical values? Ano yung yan ha? Okay nga siguro yan naman yan. Hindi naman masyado halata. Because it's time to evaluate your priorities. Honor mo ba si God o hindi? It's a black and white question. Have to find a way to balance family and work commitments. Many Filipinos face the challenge of balancing work with family responsibilities. And yet, our passage today challenges us to see if we are unintentionally letting financial pursuits consume our attention, causing us to neglect our spiritual life and family bonds. You have to also embrace a servant leadership mindset. Workplace man yan, community o pamilya, you have to strive to lead by example. People are looking to you in how you use your money. By doing so, you can influence them agad when they see that itong tao to napaka good steward niya when it comes to handling his resources. Hindi siya tempted by the allure of wealth. That is how a Christian should be known. In the office, that's how you should be known. This person, hindi yan natitinag, single focus kay God. Hindi siya kayang matempt na, nakita dito kaya ano naman na. Hindi, pag si ano yan, hindi yan yung gagawin. Dapat ganun ang reputasyon mo. Ganun maging salt and light. And mangyayari yun kapag contented ka sa Panginoon. Wala ka nang kailangang ipaglaban. Hindi mo na kailangang ipaglaban mas maging secure yung future mo. Ang pinaglalaban mo ay maging steward of what you're given today. Because your heart follows what you treasure. Your heart treasures what you feed it. And in the end, your heart will serve what you treasure the most. You know, what you will find is that when you shift yung sipag at tiyaga mo in treasuring or finding and focusing on Jesus, when you feed your heart with Him, you will find Him to be a treasure so valuable, nothing else compares it. In a parable, dalawang magkasunod, Jesus Christ said in Matthew 13, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom that Jesus Christ leads, is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then, in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. May nahanap ka na sobrang ganda na willing ka na ibenta lahat. Bahay, lupa, kotse. Bakit? Because what you found is so much more valuable. It's a passion that has the capacity to eclipse everything when it comes to worth. I consider all as loss, sabi ni Paul. And then he continued, magkasunod lang. To strike a point, dalawang beses niya kinuwento. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant, negosyante, naghahanap ng pearls. Who, and on finding one pearl of great value, sobrang gandang pearl na to, kaya ko na ibenta lahat ng pinagkakakitaan kong iba. All the money-making things that I have right now is incomparable to this blinding pleasure that is Jesus Christ. Ganun yung klaseng treasure that you can find in Him. And I would rather have a life of shalom with little, but with Him, than a life of anxiety with more and without Him. And alam nyo itong passion na to, parang pagkain, I could explain na luto ako, yung crust tastes like this, the texture, may acidity, may konting saltiness, ito ganyan. I could explain it in words, but hindi mo pa rin maintindihan up until you taste it yourself. Kaya nga sabi ni Psalmist, taste and see that the Lord is good. I cannot explain that for you. This passion, this treasure in God, ikaw lang ang makakaintindi kapag tinanggap mo siya bilang iyong Lord and Savior. O kapag tinanggap mo na siya dati, ikaw lang rin ang makakabalik at makakaintindi ulit kung gaano kalalim at gaano kaganda pala ang pag-ibig ng Panginoon sa akin. And you know what? A good benefit, when you seek Him first, actually all these things will be added on to you. Hindi naman mapagkait ang Panginoon. But what I hope you would take out of this is that if He does everything today, you will still say, yes, I still have meaning. Because your heart follows what you treasure. And your treasure, if you have Jesus Christ, can never be taken. You have something that lasts forever. And remember the algorithms? Your mind is always learning, always craving more of what you give it. Imagine how much more you can learn about the beauty of God. I've studied, master doctorate, and I finished it, still studying, and I haven't scratched the surface. There are still so much more to discover about the beauty of our God. And kaya nga, He's an endless pursuit. Kaya nga, eternity, hindi tayo mabobore. Because even eternity is not enough to figure out the beauty of God. Your heart treasures what you feed it. I'm confident that when you feed it with the good things of God, the more you will be enamored in Him. And Jesus' words are not just about rejecting wealth. It's not just about saying that money is bad today. It's simply telling you that today I make a decision that I will choose a right master. That one I treasure the most is Jesus Christ. Your heart follows what you treasure. Your heart treasures what you feed. And in the end, your heart will serve what you treasure the most. So in your groupings, there are just simply 3 questions. Again, let me challenge you na huwag nyo i-tweet yung pag-uusapan nyo later or post. Okay? Kung ano man yung pinag-usapan sa group, huwag nyo na rin dalhin sa kainan nyo sa pamilya. Kasi ganun naman nung kumakalat ng chismis sa atin-atin lang naman. So, huwag nyo na kasi once makaramdam ng ganun ng church, wala nang kikwentuhan. Okay? So, kailangan natin bantayan yung authenticity ng groups natin. Kung ano man yung pag-usapan doon, let it stay there. Okay? These are the 3 questions, groups of 3 to 4 perhaps. And the first one is designed to intellectually engage you. The second one is designed emotionally to engage you. And the third one is to give an application that you yourself could share to your group that you want to do in application to the passage that we just studied. Take your time now to converse, and I'll be back in about 15 to 20 minutes.